focus at this hour with new strains of the coronavirus wreaking havoc globally. The United Kingdom has toughened the existing restrictions. The rapid spread of the new and infectious COVID-19 variant has now put the government under pressure to introduce even harsher curbs. Britain introduced a new level of tighter restrictions in England, and now most of the country will enter Tier 3 and 4. Currently, people in more than 43% of England are already living under the tightest level of regional restrictions. The British Health Secretary also spoke about the available vaccine stocks in the country and how it is enough to vaccinate almost all of the adult population.
We already have 530,000 doses available to the UK from Monday, with millions due from AstraZeneca by the beginning of February. Sharply rising cases and the hospitalisations that follow demonstrate the need to act where the virus is spreading. And you'll have seen, Mr. Speaker, that yesterday alone 53,135 new cases were registered, the majority of which are believed to be the new variant. Unfortunately, this new variant is now spreading across most of England, and cases are doubling fast. It is therefore necessary to apply Tier 4 measures to a wider area, including the remaining parts of the South East. The new variant means that 3/4 of the population are now going to be in Tier 4, and almost all of the country in Tiers 3 and 4.
England is back in the eye of the coronavirus storm, with as many patients in hospital as during the initial peak in April. There were 20,426 COVID-19 patients in the country's hospitals on Monday, compared to the 18,974 peak recorded during the first wave. Britain reported 53,135 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, which is the highest number since testing became widely available. More than 71,000 people in Britain have died within 28 days of receiving a positive test for the infection. Earlier, we spoke to our London bureau chief, Mandy Clark, on the same. Listen in.
Not necessarily ruled out, although we know right now is more are moving into 4, but it really depends on that spread of that new variant, because of course great news with the vaccine, but that spread is just doubling, tripling. We're seeing numbers that we first saw at the start of the pandemic, that huge spike in number of cases, and unless they can control it, there's no ruling out a Tier 5. But what we're hearing this evening from the health secretary is that the majority of the country, all the country, are going to be in Tier 3 and Tier 4. Now, Tier 4 is currently the highest level of lockdown measures, so all non-essential shops closed, no gym, no healthcare exercise facilities open. You're only allowed to mix with one other person from a household. Of course, if these measures don't really curb those infection rates, there is a possibility that we're going to move to Tier 5. There is discussion about closing secondary schools. Right now, they're on a break. It's the Christmas break. They're due to reopen next week. There's great concern that the infection levels are just not going down, so we might see closures or not staggered reopenings of secondary schools. So it's still all to play for, really. But as for the moment, there is no Tier 5 just yet, but it can't be ruled out.